Hello, good evening, and welcome to Lure of the Lush Lufenia Plus. This is the Vayne raid against the two Rafflesias, and somewhat contrary to my usual modus operandi, I've decided to showcase the featured unit, Vayne, because I am an incorrigible Ivalist simp. He is of course blued and greened, and that'll have to tide me over until they eventually add Deleter BT Plus in the game. Copium. But I do actually have another reason for bringing Vayne here. And that is to combat an opinion that was very prevalent in JP when this event came out, which is that Vayne is not good in this event. In fact, some people said that Vayne is unusable in this event, which is patently false. But I think the sentiment arises from two particular places. One is I think that Vayne is the first of the BT Plus units who requires a lot of investment to be particularly impressive. When I say BT Plus, I mean the new ones. So Bartz and Ishola, they need full green, otherwise you're not going to get much out of them. But Zidane and Ace, those are both very strong units in and of themselves, even without their regular BT. No, Zidane's turn deletion is unparalleled in the game, which is a great bit of utility aside from all his other nice tricks in his kit, and Ace does a lot of off-turn damage. He's by far the strongest off-turn damager in the game at the moment, and he comes with big defense down. It's win-win. Plus some party auras on LD as well. He's a good character. Vayne, I'd say, is very underwhelming LD only. I don't think that's an uncontroversial opinion. I know that BC was saying that for months and months. I don't think he was the only one. And I think the other reason is the mechanics of the fight, which are very based around tempo. And if you play Vayne in a particular way, if you play him pedal to the metal, all gas, no brakes, you can really come a cropper. So the mechanic is that for each enemy, if you let 12 ally turns go without that enemy getting to act, it'll warp its turn right in front of yours and do whatever action it was going to perform and cleanse all its debuffs. And very often that action is a nasty AoE HP attack, which you do not want to get hit by. But they also get a Pollen Aura that we'll see at various times, which you need to take 3 turns for it to dissipate. If you don't, it'll cleanse when it takes its turn, and probably do a nasty HP attack. So you need to manage your own party's tempo and how many turns are in between the enemy turns. Now, if you just put your foot down with Vayne, just let him go, you can very much get ruined by this mechanic, especially if you don't have any mitigation in your party. I think people were very used to fights before this, where you'd zero boss turn, not worry about what the enemy is actually doing, and just deal enough damage to kill them. This fight also has the unfortunate problem of having a very difficult orb, which is it only goes up on breaks. But that's where Vayne actually comes in. He is probably the most consistent rebreaker in the game. He has so many rebreaks in his kit. And his orb management makes him a really good pick for this fight, in my opinion. The only other thing you need to deal with is, you need some mitigation for that Toxify HP attack. Here I'm using Agrias to just not let them act. I don't want to deal with it, but I did another run where I used Kamari, and his blind was really good for it, but you can also use HP damage mitigation, things like that. And you also will need to get past their gigantic defenses. So I've got Setzer here for that, just to bypass it. Aside from that, if you can avoid Vayne from taking too many turns, which you can do by just managing when he gets to full stacks on Conqueror's power, you can actually rip through these guys with him. Green Vayne's doing a lot of damage with his rebreak follow-ups. It is an awkward BT effect. If you don't know, his BT aura has a couple of... It's brave damage focused, so it has brave damage, brave regen, brave cap, things like that. But its claim to fame is this follow-up we're seeing right here, which can do quite a lot of damage. We saw it did 200k there. It do up to 250-ish k with this team of full blues and, you know, rainbow numbers. But it can also do absolutely nothing. We'll see later in the fight where it'll do something like 50k, because it's not actually very strong, it just has the potential to be very strong. So I've got Setzer here to, yeah, rip through that defense and just bypass it. Now I am very aware that the last run video I did, I said, please do join in tomorrow for Sid Reigns Lufenia Plus. I didn't even mean it when I said it, because in my mind I was actually just thinking, oh, the event's tomorrow. I wasn't going to do a run because I knew I was going to be on holiday. But then a lot of things happen in my life. I've been very busy recently. I've been on some holidays with my family. I've been doing job applications, things like that. That hasn't given me a lot of time for DFFOO. Poor Prompto suffered for that. He didn't get a 60 seconds vid. Oh well. I'm sure someone's upset about that somewhere. But it also meant that I never recorded my Reigns run. Now, if you weren't familiar, I'd intended to not bring Reigns, as I'm wont to do. I like to not bring synergy, but that fight really humbled me, because it's really, really bloody hard without Sid Reigns. And I didn't want to just copy someone else's run, really. You know, I'd seen some of the fantastic runs that other people had done. Liz Lizette stands out. I remember she did one with Kais and Lael, and I think Porum. I think she did a couple. And was it Trevoid who did the Extreme before, when the TCC challenge was a little bit overtuned? Yeah, some really good runs there. And I did try. I brought Lael and Agrias and probably someone else. And I couldn't do it. And I thought, you know what? I don't need to prove this. I don't need to do it without Reigns. And I found that quite liberating. It got me past something, I think. So, having a lot more fun just bringing the teams I'm enjoying, whether that's synergy or not, whether that's greens or not, just teams that are fun to use, and I think a little bit interesting. Although the reason I haven't posted the other runs since then is not because I don't think I've done anything interesting, it's because I've been really busy and I just haven't had the time. And I don't really want to post anything without doing a bit of commentary and talking. So I'll just go through what I have done. So I eventually did Reigns event with Reigns, Zidane, Greened, and Agrias. That was pretty good fun. Well, it wasn't good fun, but it was smooth. Transcendence 5 though, that was a blast. That was a really good event. Loved it. The left Crucible, which is the one where you have to do all the off-turn damage, or the one to do with effects ticking down. I brought Thirian, Kamari, and Selez. And it was slow. It was very, very slow. But I was really happy to see it all come together. God, that orb is looking a little bit tight, isn't it? Oh well. Then for the right, I brought a pretty cookie-cutter team of Tidus, Bartz, and Kieran, so that for Reckoning, I could bring Tidus, Kamari, and Bartz. That was a really fantastic run. I might upload that at some point, just because it came right down to the wire at the end. It's pretty dramatic stuff. You guys are missing out. Then Aranea LC, that was a bit of a stomping ground for a lot of people. Just people throwing fun teams and seeing what sticks. I think the one I enjoyed the most was probably Agrias, Kamari, Tidus, you know, with that friend unit. They played really nicely together, but did a couple of others as well. VV, Zidane, Kamari, that was good. Ace, Cypher, Ash, that was nice. I love Cypher Ash. I've used that so much on this channel. And then for Quistis, horrible event. Hate it. Think it's really bad. Didn't bother with doing Cloud of Darkness run. Other people did that. I just went straight with Quistis, Lael, Sabin to take advantage of that lower battery reduction and Brave Gain up to just do some Mondo launches with Sabin and Lael. Good times. Now, we are running to the end of this run, and you can see that we are out of rainbows. But it's not too much of a problem, because these guys actually aren't very strong. So even though that BT effect, oh my god, that did nothing. Even though we're not doing tons of damage, we can probably get through this, especially because Vayne's the only person who's been shredding through his rainbow numbers. Agrias still doing big damage there. Whew, 600k across both enemies. Agrias, go off. And Vayne is still synergy stats, so even with the high defense, he's not doing nothing. Yeah, summon just to close it out. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. The next fight is Kate Sith Mission Dungeon, which has been Doom posted to hell, but as an Agrias haver, I'm laughing all the way to the bank. I think a lot of people are going to hate that fight. I'm probably going to hate it too, frankly. It looks like, what the hell were they thinking? But until then, have a great evening. Thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you later.